Biography is as random as it can be. The randomness comes not for the person I choose, but rather the timing. I just decided that I'll say so. So let's start. Bartholomew Fair was a carnival as well as trade event which used to be held in northwest London each summer. It was a huge crowd draw that used to attract the people all over the corners of the city. Even the richest of rich as well as poorest of poor used to attend this carnival. All sorts of entertainment was provided. There were acrobats, fighters, wild animals tamers, then musicians, jugglers, then there were conjurers. There are many paintings, engravings as well as drawings that depicts the ongoing of this fair. Now we are most interested in the era of 1721 to 1730. There was one thing common in the pictures of that era, that there was a trade booth of a conjurer that was way ahead of his time and the most famous conjurer of his era. This magician was better known by the name of Isaac Fawkes, Fawkes. While the people used to pass from that carnival, a big ad used to draw their attention. It showed them in gentleman dress and in powdered wig, and the experiences tell that it went in a sequence like he used to show the content of a bag inside and outside which was clearly empty, and the next moment he could command hundreds of eggs out of that bag, and then there were showers of gold as well as silver. It started to swell, and then there were the fowls running all around the place. He could throw a pack of cards and turn them into any bird he liked. He could change the indices of a card and could change them into any picture. A newspaper reporter has published his experiences and thoughts after he's seen his show, and he said that it was very much similar to an ancient magician known as Pancrates. The Pancrates was so much popular, and there was a sort of impact on the mind of the audience that whenever he used to come to his place, in the process he used to touch from his wand which he has whispered, and this touch could turn the first log of wood into a human. Very much similar was used to be followed from the guy Fox, who used to whisper to his wand and do all the transformations using the same, to the amazement and horror of the audience. Now he was someone that he was so much ahead of his time and a pioneer of marketing, management as well as publicity of the act. This was the first time that in the imagination of entertainment beyond conventional trade fairs was being realized. Before that, the conjurers were being seen as rather someone who is bewitched, does all the sort of acts which are related to black magic and was seen as suspicion. They were not being taken as someone, a decent fellow who can just be regarded as part of the society. They were seen as a juggler, charlatan, and all the bad things that can happen. But rather in this stage, he was careful enough to distance himself from any image of black magic, witchcraft, or the practices of dark arts. The time his show started, the demonstration from the clockmaker of that time, that was Christopher Pinch. The pinchbeck designs included the tree that could yield the apple tree that could yield the fruit, the ripe fruit, in less than a minute, starting from the seed, and the automata that can work on its own to show the movement. It was being shown working on as an acrobat. And please mind that this was the time that there were no computers or the CNC, and it was as if it was working on its own and it had its brain. This was something that was very much ahead of its time, and people were really astounded by its performance. And many times when there were these descriptions, and he just not only talked about what was contained in the show, but also what was coming, and his success, his career, and for how the rich and majesties he was performing. At one point of time, he had challenged anyone to deposit an amount of 700 pounds, 700 pounds into the bank, as he has done so. It was such a huge amount for that period. He openly challenged any conjurer of his age to do so. Eventually, there are evidences that rather than just relying on his life and his skills, he moved more and more towards this technical expertise and the demonstration that were ahead of his time. And he can rightly to be said as earlier form of scientist whose main intentions was not to fool people around, but to show the pioneers of experiments, the invention, discovery that was aimed at information sharing than deceiving them. At the time of his death, he had left fortune of around 100,000 pounds for his widow, and it was not a small deal. It was such, he had made a cult of himself. It was for the first time that someone had gained the fame, not just in his country, but also all across Europe, and even in the US. People used to know that there's someone who is being perfect in what he does. What he was doing was not so special or very much unique, rather he was doing some conventional things, but all depended on how he branded himself and managed to keep his image in a very positive manner, and avoided any sort of executions or persecutions of the powerful societies over the doubt of witchcraft, because that was the time that the culture was mired with punishing many innocent as well as outcast or maybe mentally ill persons who were being doubted as someone who's casting the spells on the daily ongoings of the people around and thought to be bewitching, though it was not true. And later there have been apologies from the judges as well as jury, but it was too late by then, and let us not dig into that thing, maybe in some lecture. But that was Isaac Fawkes, truly a master of his time, who had not just the skills of hand, but also the capability to market and let the world know what he's doing. So that was Isaac Fawkes for you today. Over to you. Take care. Bye. Until next time, we'll cover some other magicians from the history who have shaped this art and helped to preserve until today. Thank you.